Isn't that an awesome little ammonite? Very cool. Hey everybody, I am at an awesome spot looking for some ammonites right now. And it is stupidly windy, so I probably will not be recording very much, but I wanted to show you the two I turned up already. So first there's these two. You can see they're both only partial, but you can actually see sutures in this one, which is pretty cool considering it's an imprint. But then we have this piece right here. My camera will show them. So there's two very nice ones side by side. So unfortunately it is extremely windy, so I probably won't be able to record while I'm actually looking for them, but I will definitely show you all what I find. Alright, well here is some more. You can see there is a little bit of an ammonite sticking out, which means if I'm very, very careful I might be able to unearth that one without breaking it. And then I found this one here where you can actually I'll be able to show you better at the shop, but there are actually ammonites poking through in multiple locations on this one. So again, if I'm careful, I can probably expose them all. And this stone right here, also same thing, has a few ammonites poking through. So if we're careful, we might be able to save them. Ammonites like this, where they're not, you know, three-dimensional, where they've been pressed into seams like this, they are very, very unforgiving. They do not, you have about, I don't know, a couple millimeters to work with, so they're way, way, way harder to excavate than pieces you would get out of a matrix like the baculites that I find. But you can still do it, it's just really hard. Another very cool thing that you find here are fish scales, some of which are still kind of pearlescent. All those little white and red spots are fish scales. Very, very cool. Quite unique. Alright, I really want to record over here, but here, let me show you how bad the wind is. Yeah, it's not great at the moment. I really want to record over here though, so I think I'm just gonna show you a bit and actually do a voiceover, so I'll start talking right now. Alrighty, that is much better. That wind was just too horrible to even try to keep any audio from it. So as you can see, I am just going through and flipping all of the shale to see if I can't find anything of note. Generally speaking, you would want to be splitting it with a hammer and chisel, but of course I forgot it, so I'm just going through the abundant material. Oh, and this is so frustrating. I kept finding pieces that had like a little bit of an ammonite on them, which is a good sign, but a frustrating sign. It's good because it means there's more to be found, but it's very frustrating because, yeah, that would have been a nice ammonite. And as you can see in the video, there is no shortage of material to search through. Same thing there. Yeah, there's another half ammonite, so saw a big chunk, so I started going through there. Again, there's another piece of an ammonite. And that one would have been a good one to split, but oh, never mind. I just split it with my hands. Alright. I don't remember doing that. And that is a fish scale. There is actually a cross section of a shell. And there's another little piece of ammonite. But at this point I'm getting a little frustrated because, yeah, there's really nice ones to be found there, but I'm only finding little bitty pieces of them. You can see that right there is a fish scale, which are found pretty abundantly in this area, and that's actually one of the things that I'm trying to find specifically. You could go out and look for there's a cute little ammonite right there. But no, you look for the rocks where the sections where the fish scales are getting really, really densely
packed in numbers, and then that's going to be a good sign that there's going to be more fossils in the area. If you're in a spot where there's not much, oh, there's an ammonite. But yeah, if you're in a spot where you're not finding much for fish scales, it means that you probably have to look somewhere else. Poor Floyd was just sitting at the bottom of that hill whining for me to come back down. This may not look like it, but that was a very, very, very steep shale hill. That's a really cool seam of fish scales right there. Just awesome. A lot of them still have pearlescence, so that's pretty cool. And Mr. Floyd.
Well, I was hoping that the wind would die down enough to record more, but I guess it works out because my camera's almost dead anyway. I forgot to bring an extra battery with me. Let me show you one thing that I found really quick. Isn't that an awesome little ammonite? Very cool. Alrighty, we will get close-ups of everything back at the shop, but as for now, I think it is time to mosey on out.
Alrighty, well, I've got everything unloaded. It may look like a lot, but it's really not. Once you start breaking open shale, pretty much 80% of what you're seeing is just empty shale. So I'm gonna grab out the ones that I know for a fact have nice ones in them. I'll show you all those, and yeah, from there I'll pick out some ones that I'm gonna be doing some work on. And yeah, we'll go from there. Oh, before I start getting into these, if you are interested in fossils and rocks and shells and carving, definitely consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I'm doing this kind of stuff all the time, and we're up to about 3 videos a week, so there's definitely a lot more of this content to come. Alrighty, so we're gonna start with this one. I see a bunch of stuff in this layer right here. This is an ammonite right here, a little bit of one poking through right here, and these are a bunch of imprints of different stuff. So I think if I very carefully split it along that line, we might find some cool stuff. Alrighty, so just gave way a little bit, so let's start peeling some of the stuff back. Hey, there we go. There's an ammonite right there. Very, very carefully remove this stuff around it. There, you can kind of see it poking through right there. So we are going to do this very, very, very carefully. See, there's a little bit of a split starting out on this end. Just going to keep that going around the side. That should make it easier to lift this plate off. You can see it's starting to come. There we go. It is free, and that is a nice, cute little ammonite. Alright, I'll get close-ups of everything at the end, but here's the next piece. You can see it's got a nice split right there. And that should be right on the other underside of this seam. So let's lightly, very, very carefully split this open and see what we come across. Let's see what's under here. Looks like nothing on this piece. Ooh, there's an ammonite. Cool. Here, let me expose that little guy a little bit more. Gotta tell you, if you're gonna get into fossils, definitely avoid types like this. They are so hard to get out without completely destroying them. They take so much practice. You will destroy quite a few before you figure out how to go about doing it. And don't ask me how I know that. Woohoo! Looky there! Sweet, there's another one. Little side-by-side ammonites. Just very carefully peel the rest of this back. See that little pair sitting next to each other though? Oh, that's so cool. Again, I'll get closer in just a minute, but that's awesome. Oh, and I spotted this weathered little guy right here. Too cool. Well, I just exposed 2 more in the same piece. So there's 4 ammonites just right next to each other. Problem though, I can't expose this one the rest of the way with what I have on hand at the moment because there is a big seam running down right here. If I try to separate that, this whole piece is going to split. So I think for right now, we're just going to be happy with this, which is a very cool specimen. Alrighty, on to the next one. And it may look weird seeing me sitting on the floor to do this, but the whole reason I'm doing this is so that I can be doing it on concrete, and the reason for that is it actually helps the process quite a bit. Alright guys, I haven't looked at this yet. I just split it, so let's see what we got inside of here. Kind of move these pieces out of the way. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is too cool! Woohoo! Okay, that is what you want to find. That is an awesome ammonite. Get all those little pieces out of there. Oh, that is awesome! Alrighty, well, let's get some close-ups on some of these. Some of these are just fantastic, but yeah, these are all of the confirmed ammonites -1, which I will show you in a minute, but yeah. I cannot believe how tiny these two are. I'm more amazed that I even saw them to begin with. Just itty bitty. Here's another one. A little bit bigger. Very weathered though. This one actually had a crack that went all the way down to the ammonite, so it has a very weathered mineral coating over part of it, but it's still an ammonite. Then there's these two, which you saw already. I showed you while we were out. Cute little guys though. And then another one above it. Very cool. And then here is that one that had so many in it. So there's a very weathered little one up here. There's one peeking through right down here. There's another very weathered one right there. And there, right there, is actually a very nice one. And last but not least, we have this one, which came out cleanly and left a perfect negative impression. And this is a really nice ammonite. Very, very pretty. But believe it or not, of course it happened when I wasn't recording, but there is actually a nicer one from this trip. Look at how cool this is. That's a nice big one too. And then there's another little one peeking out right here. And a cross section of one right here actually. But that is just too cool. I don't care what quality they are. I get ridiculously little kid excited whenever I find an ammonite. See, like I said, when you start getting into them, the majority of it is waste rock. This is all just empty waste rock. Nothing, no fossils whatsoever inside of here. And then there's my 2 piles of fossils. So again, the majority of what you're gonna wind up with is just empty shale, but I always hold on to these because they are wonderful for carving, oddly enough. It's such soft rock that it makes for really, really easy carving, and flat pieces like this, I take over to my diamond plates with some 80 grit, my 80 grit plate I mean, and I will flatten 2 sides of them, and that is what becomes my backing for pieces like this. So when I make my ammonite jewelry and my really fragile shells like pen shells that aren't thick enough to make a cabochon out of, they get put onto a backing and then domed with jeweler's glass and they're good to go. Alrighty, well I think that is going to do it for this one. Definitely don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I love having conversations with all of you. That was a lot of fun. I'll definitely be doing more fossil videos soon, especially now with the river too high to actually hunt. I pretty much turned my attention to crystals and fossils, so be expecting a lot of crystal hunting and fossil hunting, and in the meantime, probably a couple trips to the Priors, but yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll have another one out very, very soon. Look at the sutures on this ammonite.